everyone, to Unlocking Freedom in Nature. My name's Tammy Crawford, and my co-host here is Lori Beard. Welcome. Sorry we were a little bit late today. Tech problems, but hey, like Lori just mentioned, when we inhale positivity, we can exhale creativity or possibilities. And we want to welcome our guest today, also, Aly. Welcome, both of you.
Yay! I'm very happy to be here today, Tammy. You know how we do this. We move forward with this spirit of tenacity that we have. Despite technologies acting up, we just try to overcome it. And we have this recording today instead of the live stream, but this is great either way because Aly is going to share with us a lot of information. Aly, we are so happy you're here. We just want to know, what is your passion project right now? What is your story that you want to turn into a message right now for those you work with and serve?
My message is that, yeah, I spent a lot of time in shame. I mean, until I was 62, I didn't talk about my shame. I didn't talk about my story. And people need to know that other people have experienced things and that they can come out. It was very freeing for me to finally speak. And so now that is part of my project. And of course, part of what I need to do too is to take care of myself. And I do that, yeah, by journaling. A lot of it is journaling because I felt that's very connecting to my emotions and to just the flow of life. I can see when I'm in these circular thoughts, and I can see when um there are things I want to change that I keep bringing up, and it's like, well, I guess if you keep bringing that up, maybe you should do something about that kind of thing.
So
So
I
I
have a
see that in my
question.
journaling. Yeah.
Right. A question for you, Aly. So I was listening or reading something on yours about it was a coach that helped you to realize that you were more like living in your past instead of moving forward. Is that kind of how you felt, and that's why you wrote
Well,
the book?
this there's yeah, that is part of why I wrote the book too, is that this coach, he gave me a challenge. He said, go tell your story to 30 people in 30 days.
No.
And yeah, and it was like, so I had not told my story to a whole lot of people at that point. It's not like nobody knew, my family knew my story. And there were other people few who knew my story, but it wasn't like a public thing. And I didn't just go out and talk about it. So it's like, okay, this is a big challenge because this coach, his idea was that all the people that worked with him, because we were in this startup project together, that all the people that work with them, he wanted them to be at their highest level. He wanted them to be able to bring their best energy. And so that's why he did this with us. And it's like, yeah, his questions were like, okay, I said, I'm 60. How old are you? I said, I'm 62. And he said, okay, what was your life like when you were 50? What was your life like when you were 30, 20, 10? And by the time I was 10, we were talking about 10. Yeah. All the stuff that had gone in there, I was just weeping. I was weeping. And he said, well, I see this trend in your life, and that is, am I safe? And it just hit me so hard. It hit me hard. And at the same time, you know what? I know that that's like really a human condition thing. It's not just me. It's the human condition to be like, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I okay right now? That's our amygdala, that's our hindbrain, and it does that. But it gave me a lot to just look at it, to just go, whoa. And it gave me a lot of compassion for myself. which is a great place to move from, you know? And then, so when he said that, it was like, okay, by that time I had seen that if I would step out in courage, that I would normally grow. If I would step out of that comfort zone, that I would normally grow. So I said, yes, I'll do
Aly,
it. And
there's a lot here, a lot, and I love it. I love the fact that you are sharing this. You're very, very courageous, of course, like you're saying, when since you were challenged and you made this decision, conscious decision of stepping out of that. And
yeah,
one thing I teach my clients, Aly, is like, it's not a comfort zone, is the known zone. Because I'm sure in your comfort zone, you were uncomfortable, you were in pain, but it's all you know.
oh, that's a good point.
And this is
That's a
a
good,
human condition, and it's not a human condition. It's a protection human condition of, I wasn't safe once because of a trauma, or many times around XYZ person or individuals. I had this trauma, this was done to me, and this self-preservation, because then you don't want to put yourself, or maybe some people even put themselves in that situation because they don't learn, they don't summon that courage, or learn because they don't think the power is in them to say enough is enough. I have a backbone and I'm not going to allow this in my life anymore. But how wonderful that this coach saw this or perceived this maybe shell that you had around your wall, and he was sensitive enough to go through that exercise with you. And I want to tell the people that are watching, and I know, like Tammy was saying, in this group, we have a diversity of ages, diversity, many people. And if you're a teenager, if you're a young adult, if you're a professional, listen to Aly. She was in her 60s, I think, when she was brought into awareness that her life and all that suppressed feelings could come out to the surface and turn that mess into a message, which is in her book.
yes.
Do you want to show us your book?
It's Walking Out of Shame, and it is on Amazon.
Yes, Walking Out of
And
Shame.
Walking Out of Shame. And
Oh,
yeah,
I,
you,
I
you
was
are
going
you
to
are so
mention this real quick because of everything that Lori and Aly just mentioned. This is one thing everybody should always think of, whether you're a parent, a teenager, whoever you are, is to always think before you speak.
Oh, Tammy, you're on mute.
Do sorry.
I was like, you're saying great things.
So your words and actions not only affect you, but they affect each and every person around you. And they can affect a long time. Because I know with people that have gone through abuse and gone through these different things, and 20 years later, or even 50 years later, if they hear those same words, it can trigger them back to that spot. And that's where it's so great that Aly has really, she's came a long way. She wants people to not live in their past. Like we don't want people to live in their past. We're here to help you today. So anyway, that's what I wanted to throw out there. So
yeah.
I love it too, Tammy, and you're so right. With the work I do, the reason I say you don't go to a dumpster to get your trash unless it's super, super valuable and you're afraid you lost something there.
right.
You kind of it's worth to dig it out, okay? If it's a treasure that you mistakenly put there. But I also think it's like when you have a frozen meal and you're so excited and then you toss that box where the instructions are, and you're like, wait a minute, we need to get this out of the trash very quick to know the instructions to make this meal happen. You just use that information for a completion, right? To get something done. And that's what I do. And I know Tammy wants to do, and we do with our clients. We want a little bit of information and then even arrows go backwards a little bit to propel you forward. And I love that Aly made that conscious choice after she became aware with a great perceptive coach to help her understand that at her 60, 62, her life, her end of her story, she could design. She could leave it the way she wanted it by design after a process, right? Healing process. And I want you, Aly, to tell us more about that healing process with your journaling, picture taking, etc.
Well, yeah, I feel like There was a child in me that always had a certain amount of resilience and a certain amount of wanting to touch my spirituality. And yeah, so at a certain point, I think I was in my early 40s, I was introduced to Julia Cameron and a book called The Artist's Way. And the biggest thing, the biggest the tool that she recommends is, yeah, journaling. She calls it morning pages. And what that is you you open your journal, you just write, you dump whatever is in your head for that day. She tells you it's not for to write beautifully, it's not for any of that. It's just you're dumping all the stuff that was there from the night before. And then you can let that go, or you can look at it and see what's happening with it. And so that is one of her big recommendations. You get up first thing in the morning and do that. Well, I went to, yeah, I was going to a Unity church at the time, and they were going through this. The book is actually a course. Somebody told her to put it into a book. Put that into a book. People need that course. And so she did. And so it's actually a 12-week course. And I went through this course with some people in my Unity church, and that's where I first started journaling. And I have not stopped.
Well,
I haven't, sometimes I've been more focused and like doing it more every day than at other times, but I've never just totally let it go because it grounds me. So
so what was the course called?
it's called The Artist's Way, like just like the book.
Okay.
The course is called The Artist's Way. And she basically wrote it for people who want to get back in touch with their creativity. They feel like either they've hit a dry spot or haven't found their creativity. And by the way, yeah, creativity, whatever kind of creativity you can get in touch with is such a way to kind of figure out who you are, right? Like really what you want out of life and what feeds you in life. Creativity is such a way to find that. And so it's definitely such a healing method.
So what I love about the fact that you do talk about your book, Walking Out of Shame, and how you're doing your creativity is it shows how you went to your past. And so you know what has made you and created you. And I'm sure you had to forgive just so you can move on. But you have to forgive yourself because you realize, okay, that was affecting my attitude and my actions and everything about me. But once you forgive yourself because you had no control, then you're able to move on, and you're moving on by journaling, walking, getting out there, correct?
Yeah. I love this area I live in right now. I am so fond of because it's just beautiful. So I love
Where do
getting
you
out in
live?
it's called, well, this area specifically is called the town of Sumner, but the official address is Edgerton, Wisconsin, which is, yeah, it's not too far. We drive about a half an hour to get to Madison. So, Wisconsin. So, yeah, and it's just a beautiful area. It's near Lake Koshkonong, which is actually a reservoir. It's man-made, but it's just so beautiful, and the area is just so beautiful that, yeah, I love it. And my husband and I are lucky. We've been kind of living an Airbnb life since the beginning of 2017. So it's going on. So it's going on 8 years. And we've always managed to find beautiful places to walk. So that's lovely. Because, yeah, I find that very, very healing, both the body movement and then being surrounded by the nature.
That's what I call nature nomad. We've had several guests that have chosen that life. I mean, is this by choice? You just want to explore different areas?
Yeah, it started off as, it is by choice. I mean, I am of the opinion that anything you do in life is like, it comes down to it, you're doing it by choice,
It's
you
true.
know? And but yeah, and yeah, it is by choice. We set off in 2017, just some stuff came up for my husband. He was going on this retreat, this spiritual retreat, and he came back and said, well, and that was at the end of 2016, and said, I need to go away. I need to just take the car and go away. And I need to do that in such a way that I can't make any promises about coming back and when I might come back. And so he did that. And I ended up in touch with the same mentors and going on my own journey. And then it was like, okay. And I left my job. We left the house. And, we packed up some stuff in the car and we were gone. And that's sort of how we've been living since then. It was a combination of a spiritual journey and an actual like geographical journey. We would just keep moving around.
So do I hear you saying that our retreat triggered all this amazingness?
Yes. Yes.
Because that's what we want to do for others. We want to trigger life changes, transformation, and it's just so fascinating to me. If you can talk a little bit more about what's your experience as a wife witnessing his changes for good, hopefully, right? And then your own changes after these experiences.
Yeah. Well, I can't even, there have been so many things I've learned that like one of them is the one thing, that I said is that we make choices in life and we're always making choices in life. And when it comes right down to it, you're not really being like controlled by the outside world, because your perceptions, the way you see the world, that becomes your world. So it is so much up to how you choose to see the world and what you choose to do about healing. That's why, I mean, healing, yeah, what happened to us is not our fault. It's not like that. It's not our fault. But healing, nobody else can do for us. So yeah, and I've learned many, I learned so many things with these mentors and with this traveling through the years. So I'm not still with the mentors at this point. Now we're traveling. But so
So
it's
I
just,
want to hear, like you said something, and I'm even taking notes because I love what you're saying. So what happens to us is not our fault, but healing. What was that part about healing?
I said healing is our responsibility.
It's our
It has to
responsibility.
be. Nobody else can do it for us. It
Yes.
can't just be handed to us, and somebody can't fix it for us.
We have to be
It has,
responsible for our own actions and our own happiness. We
And our
can't
own well-being.
rely on
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I like
Absolutely.
that a lot. I like that a lot. And that's why I say we probably didn't start the first chapters of our book, our story, but we have the power to change those last
Yeah.
chapters and create
Yeah.
our own blueprint that how do we want it to end, or how do we want it
Yeah.
to go on and move forward. So that's very good. And I'm happy to hear that you are taking that responsibility seriously. And even if it's taken for you guys to make some adjustments and changes that's led you to adventure and experiences for this transformation.
Absolutely.
So I want to
Um,
hear about her story in what was it, the Netherlands you were mentioning, or a waterfall? What was that story?
oh, no, Ireland.
Ireland.
I,
I
yeah,
was wrong.
for my 60th birthday, I wanted to go to Ireland, and I wanted to spend, well, my original idea was 6 months, but I found out 6 months requires a lot of red tape. So I narrowed it down to maybe 3 months, and I ended up staying 2. And in Ireland, for my 60th birthday, I wanted to give myself that gift for my 60th birthday. But I remember it was a day the weather was kind of strange. It was a strong wind, so not the best day to just be walking around outside, but I was in Galway and outside, and I just decided to sit by the river and saw these gulls just flying in this beautiful formation in the wind. They were like dancing with the wind, is the way I saw it. And just there was something so settling about that for me. Something so there's been a few times, many times that nature has spoken to me and said, look, God is right here with you, whatever you consider God to be. Or you can use all kinds of other words for it. Sometimes I say life itself, and that's the term I will use. Whatever you call it, it's there with you. It's like it spoke to me, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm in this place where I'm not sure what's happening next, and it's kind of always that way lately, but it's kind of I'm never sure what's next, and but it just so settled me. It's like it doesn't matter. This is life. God, you're in the flow of life, and it's okay. And it just felt so good. It just felt so good. So I took a video of it, and just so I could keep that memory. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you find it, you'll have to download it to our
Yeah.
Facebook group here.
I will
But
try to do that.
like you
Yeah.
said, life is a journey. It's an adventure, and we're here on it. It's like we get to choose which path or which roads we take. And so we can't blame others for our mistakes. But and who cares? Sometimes we make mistakes. I make mistakes every day, and then I'm like, okay, well, this is how we can change it, or this is how we can fix it. Kind of like even this morning when I went to open up my one app and they had changed everything. We found a way to overcome it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what we do, right? It's like
Yeah.
you find that it's like if you're on a path and it's like the bridge is washed out, then it's like, okay, how can we go around, or is there another bridge? What do we do, right?
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
just learning how to overcome these obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've learned that the only constant in life is change. It's kind of
Yeah. Yep.
paradoxical, but it happens all the time. And if you are not used to
Yeah.
change, and especially like things that are out of our control, and if you're not open to change, the things that you can have control over, which is yourself, your behaviors, your emotions being so anchored and tied to those unpleasant experiences from the past, it's a choice you're making. It's a choice you're making to stay stagnant and it's stale when we don't move. Like I think of a puddle with water that doesn't run, right? So we need to make
Yeah.
those decisions. And we're very grateful for you, Aly. We're so happy you said yes to this invitation to share your story. And I know you're
Thank
so
you.
open to opportunities for you to share your message. I've learned to say that, you're learning to turn your mess into a message is what I've heard it say.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
use
Yeah.
your this negative experiences to propel you to be positive and help others that relate to your story. And writing a book, my goodness, that definitely took courage. And I'm glad you are already embracing courage and speaking out rather than shame, right? You're letting go of that shame that maybe hindered you for so long to live
Yeah.
your fullest potential. And what an example you are of embracing life and enjoying it no matter your age. And I wanted to tell you that you're giving me ideas because I celebrated my 50th birthday very special in a very special way. So I'm like, when I turn 60, I'm gonna give myself a gift too, like Aly.
Well, I know.
That's
I was
nice.
thinking, I just turned
Right?
60, right? And I'm like, I didn't do anything really special. I mean, I did spend the day time with my grandkids, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, a trip to Ireland, that would have been fun. So
for
I'm
for
gonna
a
have to
few
make up.
months.
I'm gonna have to make up for that. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
it was so funny because my husband and I had gone previously. We went in 2015 together, but when we were in Galway, we got to spend like one night there in that area, and I was like, no, I want to come back to this area and really, you know, drink it in. And so that had been a desire since then, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that. I tell you, in 2015, 2016, if you would have told me that I was going to give up my job and not stay there until I was at least 65, I wouldn't have believed. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I got to stay there. And everything changed. It was just incredible. It's just,
Well,
Wonderful.
that goes to prove going on retreats and mentors and coaches, how they can change you for the better. That is
yes.
why Lori and I are really pushing our Unlocking Freedom in Nature, our website, where we offer courses, we offer retreats, which are adventures, because we want to take those of you who don't know, or even if you do know, to help you continue on your path. A lot of times we don't see everything that's there until somebody points it out.
Yes.
And so we're here to help. We want to just help encourage. We are so happy that you're part of our group now, Aly.
Thanks. I'm happy to be part of the group. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
And feel free to share comments, share your pictures of your adventures, and also join us, whether it's a course, a coaching program, or in one of our signature adventures. We would love to have you and your husband. How beautifully it is, how refreshing it is to hear that. It sounds like, I mean, this is just assuming by the things you have been telling us, there's a lot of synergy between your husband and yourself, agreeing in supporting each other in this transformational journey, and deciding to whatever he felt in that retreat that triggered the desire to make some changes and keep it moving, for you guys to be able to enjoy these different destinations. It's just amazing and inspiring. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We really appreciate it. And we thank everybody that's watching our video today. Make sure you click and share our Facebook group. Make sure you comment. If you have questions, ask them here. And we love it when you post photos and videos, when you share. We love the engagement, right, Lori?
We do. We like you to tell us about your experiences in nature, outdoors, and moving around, so that you can experience those changes yourself on a daily basis. So you take care. Thanks for your value, Aly. And if there's some closing remarks, this is your time for our audience. If you have some closing remarks.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the thing I want to say is, if you are feeling like you can't heal, like you're stuck, the first step is to believe that it's possible. The first step is to say that you want to heal. I want to heal. And that is enough to open the door a little. That's enough to open the door a little. But if you keep that door closed, it's not going to happen, because it can't. So
Thank you. It's a matter of choice. That is so deep.
Yeah, it is. And I was going to also mention, thank you so much, Aly. There's so much in her book. And if you've been a victim or whatever in the past, please check her book out. So it's healing. Of course, we want you to check out our website, unlockingfreedominnature.com. And because we are adding courses and different things all the time, right, Lori?
More adventures, more programs for you to choose from.
So,
well, we wish you all a happy rest of your week in nature, inhaling positivity and exhaling possibilities. And we'll see you next time. We look forward to comments and insights from this recording. So we'll see you next time.
bye.